Celebrating a silver jubilee in religious life is a joy. Celebrating a golden or platinum jubilee in religious life is a victory. But celebrating 80 years as a Jesuit is indeed a blessing and a grace. Today, we are overwhelmed to celebrate this great occasion in the life of Father Ted, who is a living inspiration to all of us.
Father Ted Bowling, the missionary par excellence, both in his living and in spirit, comes from a family of 6 children from the Highlands area of Louisville. He left his home 80 years ago on September 1st, 1941, to join the novitiate in Milford, Ohio, a small town outside the city of Cincinnati.
Just before leaving the house, my mother wanted to give me her blessing. So she called me to her room, asked me to kneel down, and then she gave me a blessing which she read out from a card. I felt a bit awkward at the time, but I recognized in her face both joy and a bit of sadness. My eldest brother Jim, 21 years of age, would drive the car to Milford with myself sitting at his side, and in the back seat, my mother and another brother, Bernie, 19 years of age. My father had died 4 years previously in an accident. After 1.5 hours of driving, we reached the novitiate house, rang the bell, and were warmly greeted by the brother who opens the door for visitors. I was one of about 15 new novices to arrive that day. So the brother porter rang for one of the second-year novices appointed to welcome new candidates and show them around the building, the dorm for sleeping, chapel for mass, refectory for meals, and so forth. My 2 brothers came with me, while my mother stayed in the parlor talking with the brother porter. When my mother and my 2 brothers were ready to return to their hometown, my elder brother clearly told me, "If you're not happy here, you are most welcome to return to us."
From 1941 to 1945, he did his novitiate and juniorate at Milford, Ohio. The next 3 years, from 1945 to 1948, he did his philosophical studies at West Baden, Indiana. And from 1948 to 1951 at the University of Detroit, where he earned his master's degree in chemistry. It is at this juncture his missionary adventure begins. He leaves New York by ship in November 1951 to join the Patna mission, for which he had volunteered.
After arriving in Bombay on December 8, 1951, he and 2 other American scholastics who had volunteered were sent to Jamshedpur province to study Hindi. He was then sent to De Nobile College, Pune, to study theology. God's providence started working in his life from the very time he started his theological studies. In 1952, Father Peter Sontag was also sent to DNC to be a spiritual father and also to continue his mission of the Institute for Home Study, a correspondence course on the life and teachings of Jesus, written specifically for people of other faiths. Students of theology were invited to assist him. Father Ted Bowling was one of those volunteers. He was ordained a priest in Pune on March 24, 1955, and continued the mission even after his ordination.
The question now arises, how and why did I end up under the Noble staff? Well, the 4 Jesuit northern missions or provinces were each asked to select and train 2 of its members to form the nucleus of a new philosophy staff. Accordingly, the Chicago Provincial selected 2 of their best men to take a master's or PhD degree in philosophy as Patna's contribution. However, only one of them, Father Carras, was able to secure a visa to come to India for teaching. Whom could Patna Mission select as its second person? Father Mann, the superior or vice provincial of Patna at that time, wrote to me that the philosophy staff at DNC in 1953 or 4 were asking for me because I was already in India and had that master's degree in chemistry. Father Mann replied to them, yes, we can send him. So after my tertiaryship in Kodaikanal, I returned to DNC in June 1957 to teach basic science and scientific questions connected with philosophy. Father Mann also asked me to give a helping hand to Father Sontag and his running of the Institute for Home Study.
During his free days or months, he would visit Catholic inquiry centers set up by lay people. These groups had some experience of the spiritual exercises. He would visit these centers, meet their directors, learn what they were doing, and publish newsletters in order to facilitate sharing among the centers visited. The first national meeting of CEC directors was held in 1964 when Pope Paul VI came to Bombay. Both these initiatives functioned well under the able leadership of Father Ted. We had to note here that the member of CECs grew in leaps and bounds.
At the next national meeting, held in the Archdiocese of Bangalore in 1988, attended by 28 delegates, the constitution of this association was passed. Father Ted Bowling became its president, a post he held till 2003.
Besides making Jesus known, there is also another area wherein Father Ted put his heart and soul. He was instrumental in founding the Family Welfare Center of the Pune Diocese. The emergency years brought about the beginnings of massive sterilizations. He, being a scientist, had come to know about the mucus method of natural family planning. This was a method pioneered by Doctors John and Lynn Billings of Australia. The center he began catered to many, especially to families in slum areas. Out of the experience he had gained in running the Family Welfare Center, he co-taught a course called Psychobiology of Human Sexuality from 1989 to 2001. He achieved all these milestones while being an excellent teacher, an exemplary and a holy Jesuit.
Last few years, Father Ted keeps himself busy by praying for the society and writing on the history of DNC.
As he celebrates 80 years in the service of the Lord as Jesuit, it is the right day to acknowledge that Father Ted has been an incredible Jesuit who is a great example for all of us. His cheerful presence in the community is definitely an energy booster for the staff and scholastics. He stands for us as a model to be imitated and emulated.
Thank you, dear Father Ted, for all that you have been to the humanity, to the Society of Jesus, particularly to the DNC community.
We, the DNC community members, wish you a very happy Jubilee and a long, happy and healthy life ahead.